Hey buddy, welcome back to the channel and to World of Warships. So today I'm gonna make a quick review of the Tier 6 French destroyer, the Geupard. That may be Geupard. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it in French, but I'm gonna call it Geupard. So the Geupard is the Tier 6, as I said, and the first destroyer in the line that get access to the main battery reload booster. And boy, if that is a game changer. So just a quick rundown on all the stats. And then we're gonna jump straight into the gameplay. So looking at the stats, you can see it has pretty much the largest health pool in this tier. 17,200. I think it's about 600 health points more than the tier 5 Jaguar. You have 5 guns at 139 millimeters. Just take a moment to think about that. 139 millimeter guns at tier 6. These guns are larger caliber than the tier 10 Russian destroyer, the Khabarovsk. The Khabarovsk has 130 millimeter guns. So you have bigger guns than the Khabarovsk. They reach out to 13 kilometers. And if we look at the stats, it's still pretty lofty shell arcs on the tier 6. I think the shell arcs get a whole lot flatter at the tier 8. You can see they pack pretty decent punch. And the AP is actually quite potent against the tier 6 cruisers. As I will show you in the gameplay in a little while. And as you can see, 12% fire chance is quite high. Now this is me rocking both fire flags and also demolition expert on my captain. But still, 12%, that is pretty good. Torpedoes, it's the same that you have at tier 5. It's those 550 millimeters, 8 kilometers, 68 knots. I think this is pretty much the standard torpedo for the entire line, I think. AA, still not really worth mentioning, because you have none, pretty much. Maneuverability, you have slighter, faster speed than the tier 5 Jaguar. Slighter, bigger turning circle, and a slightly faster rudder shift. Concealment, this is with a concealment build captain. I have the detectability range by sea down to 6.8 kilometers, which means you have a 1200 meter window to stealth launch your torps. But detectability range by air is of course pretty crappy at 3.2 kilometers, and that is pretty much one of the balancing factors or something on this French DD line. So there you have the stats, and if we look at the modules and upgrades pretty fast, you can see I'm rocking premium consumables. Damage control party, definitely go with main battery reload booster for 1 extra charge and also a faster reload. And of course the French speed boost. And this ship, the tier 6 Geupard, is the first ship you can slot the upgraded engine boost modification that makes you run for 50% longer duration, which put you, I think, about almost 5 minutes duration, which is pretty awesome. Otherwise, I go with a pretty standard destroyer setup. Main armament modification 1. Speed modification, of course. Aiming system modification. AA is not really worth trying to buff something that is pretty non-existent from the beginning. And then I went with the steering gears modification 2 in the 4th slots, just to get that extra dodge maneuverability. And yeah. Looking at the camouflage and signals, of course, you should try and use something that gives you some extra boost in your experience gain and also your captain gain as well. Flags, I run both fire flags, of course. Speed, since it's the trait of the destroy line. Actually have the fire extinguishing time, because you should really do anything you can to try and preserve your health pool as long as possible. So if you can, you will be set on fire by light cruisers a lot. So if you can nerf the time a bit that you are on fire, that is surely pretty great. Detonations flag, because you're a pretty big destroyer and you will detonate now and then otherwise. And then just XP gain and captain XP gain. So before we jump into the game, I thought I just showcase the effect that having the ability to slot the main battery reload booster on the tier 6 has on this ship, because that transforms this ship into a destroyer hunter killer. So let's go. So the first 3 clips is from the same game. This is at the start of the game, and enemy Geupard gets distracted. So of course I take this opportunity to ambush him with my reload booster. And as you can see, he pretty much just melts under my guns. But he has some backup in the background, so of course I will have to start to try and kite away at the same time, while finishing him off as well. So that is the first blood of the game, and I have taken minimal damage while dealing with the first destroyer of the team. Second, we have an enemy guide that has pushed into our spawn, and he makes the mistake by turning around and turning into me. So I'm just waiting to get all my guns on target. He gets spotted again. I activate my reload booster, and it doesn't really matter if he's trying to get into cover in his smoke screen, because he can't really escape this damage output. So that's 2 out of the 4 destroyer in this game dealt with. And here comes the last one, the hill, that trying to seek some cover behind the enemy König. I launched my torps before I got spotted, and when I get spotted, I attack them both with my reload booster. And I take them both out. So it's pretty much just to set up ambush attacks and carry them out. Here we have a pretty textbook ambush as well. We have an enemy destroyer getting spotted, pushing into the A-cap. I use the terrain as cover to quickly move in very close. And as soon as I get spotted clearing the island, I will just engage my reload booster, and the guy doesn't really stand a chance. I'm sorry I muted the sound on this clip. And even though destroyers are trying to smoke up and hide, they can't really hide from this DPM. And it gets taken out as well. So here I'm actually getting surprised by 3 enemy ships. 2 destroyers, a French Eagle, a Shiratsuyu, and a light cruiser, the Dallas. So this is a 1 versus 3. And I start to engage the Eagle with my reload booster. And of course, Eagle being a French destroyer, he has also some pretty nasty damage output, as you can tell by my health disappearing. But with my fire chance and with my alpha damage of these guns, it's not really a problem for me to take this fight. Now I have 4 ships targeting me. So the Shinonome is trying to help his buddy out. The Eagle gets spotted once more. I finish him off. I go dark. And then I set up my next ambush attack on his friend when he pushes into our cap. And even though I am extremely low, it doesn't really matter, because he doesn't really stand a chance to my DPM. And he can try and hide in his smoke, but the outcome is the same. So here we jump into another game where I have 4 destroyers against me, 2 being the tier 5 French destroyer, the Jaguar. And let me tell you, the Geupard eats Jaguars for breakfast. I mean, it's not really a challenge to go up against Jaguars in the Geupard. So I start to push the left flank, just waiting to see if any destroyers are gonna get spotted. And suddenly, before I reach the island, he actually spots me. Now I'm guessing that he will actually try and turn in behind this island. So I just pushes through and set up my ambush on the other side. I launch some preemptive torps in his general direction. And then I just wait for him to get spotted again, and I engage my reload booster. And I earn my first blood. Now I have to disengage because I have an enemy Miyoko trying to shoot me, and that's never a good fight to take. A few minutes later, the other Jaguar gets spotted. I close in very fast, and then I just engage my reload booster once again. And this is pretty much the reason why I said in my earlier video that you should never use your reload booster for battleships or cruisers unless you're able to kill them. You should always use your reload booster for killing destroyers. So this is the main match that I will showcase. We have 2 enemy carriers against us, which is never good, because the French destroyers are extremely vulnerable to carriers. We also have 4 destroyers against us, but 2 of those are Jaguars, so that's not really a threat to me. So first off, I thought I push the left flank, try to use all the different islands of the left side to hide my push. Also using the Yanwei and also the Shiratsuyu that are spawned on the left flank for spotting, pretty much. So I thought that they maybe push up before me and they could spot enemy destroyers, and then I could pretty much take them out. And we can see the enemy carriers are already setting up their attacks. There are some bombers closing in, but I thought they were going for the Omaha. But unfortunately I realized too late that they were actually going for me. Oh, Ryo, you shouldn't have done that. You really shouldn't have done that. So we have an enemy Jaguar spotted, and also the enemy Shiratsuyu. As you can see, I hold off on using my reload booster because this is not the perfect timing to use that. I will wait to use that when I have been able to create a ambush situation or some other situation where I can benefit the most from it. So I'm just trying to get some shots in on both destroyers. It looks like the engine is shot on the Shiratsuyu, and yeah, our destroyer, the Shiratsuyu, actually managed to take their destroyer out with a torpedo hit. And now I realize that, isn't that Ryuyo that was actually targeting me, sitting behind that island? I think I have to pay that guy a visit. So I'm just looking around the minimap. I see there's New Orleans, but he's behind that island, so I take the risk and take some pot shots at the enemy Jaguar. So this is pretty much the playstyle of the Geupard. You do hit and run, and then you just try to analyze the map between attempts, and you look where the enemy destroyers are positioned. You're trying to find out which way they may be heading, and then you try to set up a perfect choke point where you pretty much can just kill them off with these. Now, of course, I have this very juicy target behind this island, and he doesn't really seem to understand that I will be heading for him. So, yeah. Payback's a bitch. Yeah, you know what they say, the only good carrier is a dead carrier. So now I have 2 ships targeting me, and here I actually derp a little bit. This is a totally unnecessary fight for me to pick with these 2 guys. Here I should actually have gone dark and just reposition myself instead. But instead I'm just shooting off my guns, acting like an idiot, and taking a lot of damage in return. So this was definitely not a good play. Finally I come to my senses and I just wait out the gun bloom. I go undetected, I wait for the last salvo in there, and then I repair, just not to get a surprise fire in the end. Now I looked at this Emile Bartin. He's actually closing into me, so I wanted to actually try out the AP of this ship. Because I should actually be able to do some decent damage on this guy. So in this situation it's actually worth using my main battery reload booster if it's possible that I can take this guy out. So I located the citadel with the first salvo. Then I'm just trying to adjust to his maneuvering, but as you can see, he melts down very quickly with these armor-piercing shells. So that's kill number 2. Now I see this very low health Normandy, so of course it's also a viable target for me to engage. And it's also a risk worth taking if we're able to take this guy out of the battle. Cool guys don't look at explosions, so instead I switched my target to the other carrier instead. Managed to get a citadel with the HE shell, and now I switch to armor piercing and get some other citadel, and I kill him off. So far I managed to kill both enemy carriers in this game, a battleship and a cruiser, but I'm only getting started. So I see this enemy Congo pushing into my direction, so of course this is a very good chance to use my torpedoes instead. So I'm just closing in to torpedo launch range, trying to stay out of the Rangers fighter squadron. And as you can see, it's a pretty even match. Right now we have a 2-ship advantage, but the enemy team has actually held the cap circles for a very long time. So they have actually almost 400 points over us. So I really need to make a play right now if we're gonna be able to salvage this game. So the torps looks pretty good, and I'm just setting up if I need to shoot him with my guns as well. But the torps are enough, and it lands me my 2nd devastating strike, my 5th kill, and of course Kraken Unleashed. And here we see the last remaining destroyer on their team. And as I said before, guys, I'm a cool guy, so I stop shooting because I know this guy is dead. So why waste bullets? So that's my 6th kill. And now I start to go over this King George instead, because as you can see, they are very close at winning right now. They are almost at 900 points. So this is not a situation where we can try and cap out the win. We need to kill every ship. So I'm just trying to get this island between myself and the King George, because I don't really have the health pool left to tank him. Meanwhile, I'm trying to push into the center cap so I can start to cap the circle and stop their ticket gain. I will also showcase my captain build for the ship after this game, so you can see if you're interested in how to distribute the captain skill points. So now I parked in a perfect position behind this island, so I can sit here unspotted and cap out the circle, while I'm also hammering this poor guy and setting fires on his deck. So we managed to secure the cap, so now they don't gain any tickets from the cap circles. And now we just hammer away with our guns. We have 7 minutes left, so this is pretty much a sure win. Especially since he can't even see me. And you can see by his turrets that he is actually looking after where I am. But since he can't see me, he pretty much just gives up and tries to run instead. And I'm earning me my high caliber as well. And as I stated before, I see a really true potential in this ship line. If these games are possible in the tier 6, I can't even wait until I'm able to play the tier 8, 9 and 10. But at the same time, I think the skill floor is pretty high on this line. I do think that these destroyers aren't really for everyone, and maybe not for casual players. They are a challenge to master, I think. So we kill off the King George and secure the win. And as you can see, it was a pretty good game. 360,000 credits, 18,500 experience, 1100 free XP, 128,000 damage done, 2 devastating strikes, Kraken unleashed, and high caliber. And of course 6 kills, 6 torpedoes, and 2 caps. So all in all, a pretty decent game. We managed to get 2,200 base XP, and we actually shot down 6 planes. And that's not a bad thing to be able to do in a French destroyer. So I'm just complimenting some of the other players that really played well this game. And as you can see, I tanked 600,000 potential damage in a destroyer with, 17,000 HP pool. So that's pretty decent. And I managed to damage a few ships. And I managed to get some XP and credits as well. So looking at the captain build I have right now on this ship, I have one of the Honoré twins, and I actually had one build, but then I wanted to try out another one, so I went with priority targets, expert marksman, because I do want to have those guns trained on targets, last stand, basic fire training, and concealment expert, and the last 3 points I actually tried demolition expert. There are some different variants here you can try, and I think I'm not really done with my build yet. I have a couple of different ones I want to try out. So that said, I want to thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Please leave a like and a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more amazing gameplays and reviews. Until next time guys, have a good one. Bye bye.